I see the warm glow in your eyes. It pulls me in, no need to hide. It isn't hunger, isn't touch. It's something higher rising up. A quiet signal in the air, a kind of truth that's rarely shared. And I don't want to name it wrong or drag it down where it doesn't belong. 'Cause it isn't about intimacy, it's a deeper kind of frequency. There's another level we can reach, past the noise and past the speech. A story isn't a game we play, it's the world we're living in every day. And I won't treat you like a piece to claim. A story isn't a game. I see how the men all circle you, counting points like players do. But you're not a marble in their bag, not one more trophy they can have. They shake the pouch, they rattle fate, but none of them see your true shape. They only see the scoreboard lights, never the person standing in plain sight. 'Cause it isn't about intimacy, it's a deeper kind of frequency. There's another level we can reach, past the noise and past the speech. A story isn't a game we play, it's the world we're living in every day. And I won't treat you like a piece to claim. A story isn't a game.
Clouds are whipping and mashing about, stirring the sky like it's working things out. I swear I'll hear sprinkles tapping the ground, one might touch my shoulder soft and loud. But nothing can shake me or pull me apart, not when the storm only rinses my heart. I've carried enough of the world on my back, now I let the sky take some of it back. And I watch the grass rooting itself where I wish I could be. I know I can't, but I imagine so. That quiet becoming, that slow, steady go. And I can live in any weather now, safe and sound somehow. I can live in any weather. It is part of me now. Let the rain fall, let the wind call, let the whole world keep turning over. I can deal with anything after all. Like the clouds, I can always recover. So I watch the grass rooting itself where I wish I could be. I know I can't, but I imagine so. And maybe that's how the healing goes. Yeah, I can live in any weather now, safe and sound somehow.
like curtains, running their hands through the imaginary. Many homes get buried in pettiness, sometimes rooted in real misery. But some folks have to learn to get their feet on the ground. Sometimes it's only about delivery. Taste doesn't need torture, banality. It shouldn't be the whole of finality. Days run in enumerated order, they don't happen at once. Some people sort them easily, never hanging around for their chance. But some folks have to learn to get their feet on the ground. Sometimes it's only about delivery. Taste doesn't need tortured banality. It shouldn't be the whole of finality. Sounding unsufferable, I've got patience to carry the stacks, but I don't remember memories like a devil's advocate. The devil never brings everything back. Clouds feel like curtains, threading themselves through the imaginary. Many homes are buried in pettiness, rarely built on true misery. But some folks have to learn to get their feet on the ground. Sometimes it's only about delivery. Taste doesn't need tortured banality. It shouldn't be the whole finality. Coming through the microscope, traveling into the light, from the smallest slope, found in an awful fright, found sliced in two. We went further than the heavens. It's just another sea to sail. It's just another sea to sail. To fail under the art of microscopy. See straight into my insides, watch my decisions ripen like gears inside biology, to the gentle breach of dyes in chemistry. Lord knows it's happening. We've perfected pure idolatry, because a book told us what not to be. We went further than the heavens. It's just another sea to sail. It's just another sea to sail. But where is there left to be when we've made it impossible to fail under the art of microscopy? Our culture, our delight, our happiness must be made objectively, so they can slice them up and dye them in a laboratory. If you don't follow the correct steps, you'll be soundly found out and rejected, 'cause you didn't conform to the right registry. We went further than the heaven. It's just another sea to sail. It's just another sea to sail.
Some chase the thrill just to feel alive. Some think one lifetime is all we survive. But there's a voice that keeps on calling, a place to rise when the world is falling. A legacy we have the option to create, a love that time can't separate. Some say the body is all we are, but I feel something reaching farther, farther than anything known so far. I believe in family, at least conceptually. A calling older than our times, a thread that don't easily break. And not everyone will feel it like me. Not everyone hears that melody, but it's the nature of humanity. I believe in family, if not just conceptually. Even the ones who've walked through fire still dream of something to aspire. A memory, a home, a face, a love they can't replace. I believe in family, at least conceptually. It's more than blood, more than history. It's the soul's own legacy. Not everyone will feel it like me, but it's the root of our humanity. I believe in family, if not just conceptually.
So I think I'll sleep until noon. Anyway, there's nothing to do, nothing left unsaid. I'm not alone in my own home, counting, calibrating thoughts, thinking in fast forward. Indeed, I got some being to be. A flick of the wrist, under the madness, expanded and released. She said no, and now I must go back on to my journey. Card games played properly, pool tables perfectly wrapped. Memories aren't always cast in gold, everyone eventually looks back. Wild as a weed under attack, cut it, burn it, curse it, it still springs back. Will its opportunity finally knock? A flick of the wrist, under the madness, expanded and released. She said no, and now I must go back on to my journey. She has made up her mind, but doesn't know where to go. She is single and on the slides. My heart she has denied. Pride is something you don't carry inside. Proper soil is required for it to grow. Sometimes winter strays into spring and the flowers try to sprout because the sunshine was out, but the coldness inside is what it's about. A flick of the wrist, under the madness, expanded and released. She said no, and now I must go back on to my journey. Some things don't come together because there's not enough pressure, lava flowing through the lava veins, because they've learned how to be tame.
Begging for religion, yes, I'm begging for religion. Not for heaven, not for doctrine, just a voice that stood the test of time. Begging for religion, yes, I'm begging for religion. Something old enough to know me, that speaks to my inner being. Begging for religion, begging for that question. The answer's already written in the sky. A question gives a better direction. It doesn't sell convenient lies. I don't care about those circles. I'd take a square deal most times, as long as the riddle doesn't take all day. I can make that up myself. Begging for an ism, an ideology that traps societal emotion, without turning it into academic extortion. Something that won't fill the hole, but at least points me where to go. But every go in theory has some inhumane asshole scribbling in the blanks of a story they themselves create. Begging for religion, I need to speak to my ancestors. They speak the same language I do. They live in the marrow of my memory, and we've got a lot to go through. I'm not searching for salvation, I'm just trying to stay true. I'm begging for religion, where I can always come back to.
You call yourself weird, like a debt you pay, like living under a rock. Nature dropped one day. Heavy words, empty talk, none of it paves the way. Don't talk too loose in polite company. There's a cloud that digests every thought you might feel. Hold what's yours or you end up on a table, picked apart in a musical course of the uncomfortably unfollowed. They hand you words like ribbon cause it flatters their disguise. The ones who hide raw innocence behind academic eyes. Force fields are real when fidelity's high. Living in the ball, they pump you full in college. If you make it through a semester without losing your mind. I never chose my voice, the one that sounds like my mind missed a payment but still showed up on time. I lasted one more note and my voice stayed alive. So I whisper, sing, let the high fidelity twist itself around mine. In the scraps of society, anywhere where I can survive. Hold what's yours or you end up on a table, picked apart in a chorus for the comfortable and able. They hand you words like grieving cause it flatters their disguise. The ones who hide their innocence behind academic
like ours.
Free. Stand there long enough, you'll feel the vibes I feel. Smart or dumb doesn't matter if you don't ever smile. They choose you down to nothing till you're living in the I don't wanna need anything, so I'll just say I want the air. Someone handed me a microphone, I put the whole thing in my mouth right there. Wasn't even 2 years old, bit the head off clean as truth. Lost a baby tooth on the kitchen floor while the babysitter laughed at her little fool. I was scrabbling, rabbling, swallowed the microphone. All that was left was a hanging string. That's the day reality rang. You don't need to need the air. You want it so you can be in all the crazy, awesome things. So I'll just say I want the air. Metal on my tongue felt like Jubilee. Best feeling till the cough came on. Babysitter turned green, then purple, then blurry as my head began to spin. She wore some kind of saucy perfume, hair tied back like a Ahab without a harpoon. Her hand was soft and strangely strong, pulling me back toward a fresh air lagoon. That's the day it came to me. You don't need to need the air. Want it so you can keep on dreaming, keep on believing in the things in your head. So I'll just say I want the air. And as life went on, it was easy to despair, easy to forget the thoughts between the air. Took so many things for granted, even my wild thoughts stopped caring, till it hit me like a swallowed harpoon. You don't need that air to survive. You want it so you can keep your boat upright and alive. There's an ocean down below when I have to go. Don't need to need anything, so I'll just say I want the air. Yeah, I'll just say I want the air. If I'm not real, then who are you talking to? And where are we headed in this surreal night? Into the void, slow falling through nothing, or up the nowhere where nothing feels right, or out the door into that false something that isn't actually there no more. If I'm not real, then neither are you. We flicker in a world we can't hold to. If I disappear, you fade out of my view. You can't exist if I don't too. If I'm not real, then time is just a myth, an invisible wisp in a room of tales strung too
along. Every step we don't take, are we rehearsing our feelings we claim, just like a borrowed song that someone else wrote and we carry on. If I'm not real, then neither are you. We flicker in a world we can't hold on to. If I disappear, you fade out of my view. You can't exist in my false reality, and I can't exist in your applied philosophies. Maybe we're molecular mirrors pretending we are matter. Maybe we're shadows in a puppet show. Maybe the world only stands above a ladder and falls only because no one knows if we're sleeping lowly or falling faster. If I'm not real, then neither are you. If we're illusions, then let's see it through. Two fading lights in the same dark alley, holding on for the next day. Gladly use our superpowers, our applied philosophies.
And the mountains tear their crowns clean off, hurl them at the heaven's gate, still pacing the old stone rampart walls of their ancient pens. Volcanoes start, Titanomachy. Floodwaters rise to feed the swell. Giants fall and shake the ground. Nature fights in overgrowth. Power balances all gets overthrown. Fall lines murmur like old gods waking up, splitting open magma beds. Storms pull the curtains off the sky and drag the daylight by its threads. Every force that ever lived remembers what it's owed, and every root, every river have no strength and must let go. Volcanoes start, Titanomachy. Floodwaters rise to feed the swell. Giants fall and shake the ground. Nature fights when that overgrowth. Power balances or gets overthrown. And somewhere in the fallout, a kingdom of its own. What rises will be challenged, what rules will someday bow. Even gods can't stop living. In Titanomachy. And the choir sends a warning through the trees, sharpening in the distance. heavenly machine, born from thunder in an African storm. Ghost white flares in her comet trail. She don't warm up, she was born warm. Sin tangled up in a midnight air, and every false prophet starts to shake. Delicia's coming down the mountain road, and the whole damn day begins to executioner. She don't wait for the final test. She's prophecy because she over in the past. Wildfire riding until its last breath. A fallen preacher clutching at his final dollar, but a fire is starting to holler. She's whispering the lines he used to preach as the mockery turns his words to embers, and her engine starts to scream. Reality wrapped up in a nightmare dream. And Delicia flies on her heavenly machine, born from thunder in an African storm. Ghost white flares in her comet trail. She don't warm up, she was born warm. Sin tangled up in her midnight air, and every false prophet starts to shake. Delicia's coming down the mountain road, and the whole damn day begins to break. In the middle of my existence, I'm a chicklet in a forest, guarding brittle apprehensions till they soften into acceptance, acceptance of the moment. I imagine I am somewhere else, but the moment keeps dissolving. I forget where I was going, lose the thread I meant to follow, reach for something that feels solid. So I tell myself to harden, grow a shell that doesn't split, learn to sneer, fight and scorn, and never think of giving in. I need to build a better place in hell, some corner I can claim, something solid I can count on, without losing where I'm going. I need to learn to live where I am living, because life doesn't forgive. I drift back into the somewhere else, the moment slipping through my fingers.
I lose track of what I'm chasing, feel the old moments linger, reach again for something solid. So I brace myself to harden, keep a shell that doesn't split, where the sneer, the fight, the scorn, I can never think of quitting. I may be naive, but I still see the beauty in people who build things, who sharpen a duty, the ones who make things better than they would be, who measure success not just hostility. But the more I hear these morbid philosophies, the ones who swear life is fixed permanently, fated for failure, fated to fall. They want the whole of humanity to listen to the clarion call that the future is dead, and so is our reality. Yeah, and I'm just one breath, but it takes 1,000 breaths for one huff, and draining all the oxygen from the blood ain't what I call love. It's the opposite, and if there is nothing above it, living ain't right. Everything you touch turns cold and ends an eternal night. Where do you think that will go? It takes more than one life. It takes more than one life. Now I may not be perfect, there are plenty better than me. I may have half another's intellect, but how smart do you have to be to see that having no beliefs is poison to humanity? Sucking all the nectar and sweetness just to write our obituary. I'm just one breath, but it takes 1,000 breaths for one huff, and draining all the oxygen from the blood ain't what I call love. It's the opposite, and if there is nothing above and living ain't right, everything you touch turns cold and ends an eternal night. Where do you think that will go? Might take 100 years and I'll probably be gone. I'll create shallow friendships with the pen deep inside, but this time I won't write poems about peace and other things. I'll write of how I really didn't know anything. And the sky will open up high from galaxies far and wide, and the heavenly rain will wash away our sins of old, and the lead in my heart will turn to gold, and time will stand immemorially. Then in a corner, a new generation comes over when they realize that not everyone gets to be prized like the world is their own. And they will cry and put tears in a well, not wishing no more. And I don't think even poetry will save them.